Red Bull Racing reject Carlos Sainz. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Racing. And yes, it was a boring Monaco Grand Prix, but you know what? If it's going to be a boring race, at least it was a race that kind of spiced up the championship. With McLaren and Ferrari doing very well compared to Red Bull. Both championships being clawed back. 31 points is Charles Leclerc behind. 56 is Lando Norris behind. What you need is a Max Verstappen DNF and a Leclerc Norris 1-2. And I think there's a freeway going here. Yeah, maybe fire Sainz in. I think Piastri's a wee bit far behind, but we're going to wee run here, we walk here. So that's fine, gassed. That's why, alright. But yeah, I mean, Red Bull rejecting Carlos Sainz. Am I massively surprised? No, they don't really want anyone to ruffle Max Verstappen's feathers. Obviously a lot of talk about whether or not Verstappen, where's he going? But then, I mean, he probably wants in his contract that no one can touch him. You know what I mean? Which, again, I'm not saying Sainz would smoke Verstappen, but he proves at Toro Rosso, you know, he gave him a fair go. He'd be better than Perez, that's for sure. Absolutely. So I think Sainz would go toe-to-toe with Verstappen in terms of, like, racecraft. Perez just doesn't. A, he's not capable, and B, he just seems to bottle it every time. Like, you look at Mexico, I mean, his arse went. But, I mean, it's a bit unfair for Sainz that Red Bull rejected him. The reports are that Mercedes are going to reject him as well, I mean, although they're not as concrete as Red Bull. And it's looking like Carlos Sainz might end up at Sauber, and I think that's a disgrace. I think he's the most unluckiest man ever. Well, I mean, obviously, like, Alonso's had shit moves in his career, right? And things like that. But in terms of someone getting dropped out of a seat that just totally doesn't deserve it, I think Carlos Sainz is the guy that has least deserved this move. I'm not even taking the piss. I think, you know, see, I'm not saying that. I was going to say I'm not saying that Sainz would beat Hamilton, right? Honestly, I think Hamilton's lost a few steps in the last couple of seasons. Yes, he's not had the car, and here he's still put on, you know, like, decent, like last year he finished third in the championship, right? You have to accept that. But over the course of the year, I do think the Merc was probably the second fastest car. Obviously Aston Martin, like the first 10 races, yes, you have to give it to them. But then after that, Aston Martin dropped off. I think Mercedes were the second fastest car, so it's not like third is a mental achievement. But you know, he just seems, I don't know, he just seems to be lacklustre. I think Alonso and Hamilton have definitely went off the boil recently. But for Carlos Sainz, I think it would be a tragedy to honestly see that guy in Sauber. But anyway, guys, Sauber, Red Bull's rejected him at the end of the day.